Riley from Aspire Sports. Today's video, I'm going to talk about 5 wide receivers who are currently being drafted outside the top 30 at their position in the fantasy football drafts that I believe can absolutely crush their ADP and return value for you on draft day. So, with that being said, if you enjoyed this content, make sure you give us a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's get into the video. Last year, there was 20 wide receivers who saw over 110 targets. Only one of those wide receivers finished outside the top 26 at the position, and that was Jerry Jeudy. So I believe that Robbie Anderson, I think he's a shoo-in for 110 targets easily, so he can finish inside the top 25 at the position, and you're currently getting him basically 10 spots later than that. So absolutely, Robbie Anderson is a steal on draft day. He's somebody I hope the ADP doesn't go up a whole lot. I hope it stays here. So Robbie Anderson, the first wide receiver. The second wide receiver for me is going to be Brandin Cooks. And yes, there's some uncertainty what happens with Deshaun Watson this upcoming season. Is he able to play? Is he not able to play? And frankly, I don't care if he doesn't play, because I think that if word comes out that he doesn't play, Brandin Cooks is just going to fall further down the list and be even better value, okay? This is a Houston team that's going to have to throw the ball a lot. This defense is going to be terrible. The offense really isn't going to be that good, but they're going to be a team that's just going to have to throw the ball a lot. And if Deshaun is there, this guy is a top 20 guy for me. And he's probably not going to come close to that ADP-wise. Since coming into the NFL, well, I'm not counting his rookie season, so 2015 onward, these have been the yearly finishes for Brandin Cooks. He's just somebody who's always been, he's kind of like Robert Woods, where he's just undervalued. So yearly finishes have been 14, 9, 12, 13, 62. That was the emergence of Cooper Kupp, and really he was the fourth receiving option, and he missed some time due to injury. So, and then last year 15. So he's basically a top 15 wide receiver every single year except that 2019 where he wasn't very good. Now you have a Houston team where Nico Collins has been drawing some buzz, but for me personally, when I looked at film and studied all the rookie wide receivers, I felt like Nico Collins was a raw product. He still has a long way to go, where you have a polished wide receiver, a polished veteran in Brandin Cooks. So regardless of who the quarterback is this upcoming season, I believe that Brandin Cooks is a top 40 wide receiver. And especially if Deshaun Watson does play all season long, like this is a guy who's, I believe, easily a top 20 wide receiver this upcoming season, where honestly, ADP-wise, he won't be drafted there. So for me, Brandin Cooks, second wide receiver I'm going to talk about. Third wide receiver, Corey Davis. Corey Davis currently being drafted as wide receiver number 51, which is around the 12th round. And it's hard to be excited about a Jets player, but I do think that Jets are going to be a better team this upcoming season. They've basically done an overhaul of the whole team. All right. They've gotten rid of really a lot of people, and especially the coaching staff and new coaching staff that I think is going to be better for the Jets. So I think the Jets are going to be a better team. And now you have Corey Davis. Corey Davis, who somewhat lived up to the hype that he's been having previous seasons. He finally lived up to it a little bit last season, where he nearly had 1,000 receiving yards, and that was missing 2 games and having AJ Brown as the wide receiver number 1. So he's the wide receiver number 2 in a run first team, right? Now you have Mike LaFleur. He is the offense coordinator for this team, and this is somebody that's now coming from a Shanahan coaching tree. I believe he's going to use a lot of the stuff that Shanahan had. Last year, he was the past 2 years, he's been the passing coordinator for Shanahan, or maybe since 2018. I forget when exactly, but I know the last 2 years he has been. So this is a guy, Shanahan, his offense, the X receiver is the most important receiver in his offense. He's the guy who's going to see a large chunk of the work. Now, I believe that Corey Davis, he's probably going to be the X receiver in this offense, meaning he should see a lot of work. Now, I know that there's been a lot of buzz about Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore is probably most likely going to be their slot receiver there with Jamison Crowder, but he is going to be their number 1 wide receiver, at least to start the season. And he's been working out with Zach Wilson, so I believe that there's going to be solid chemistry there off the start. He's the X receiver in basically a Shanahan offense, meaning high volume. He should see high volume. And wide receiver number 51, I mean, you're really not paying a high price for him, so I think he's definitely worth the risk there, really there's no risk. But I believe that he's worth the player there and somebody that can definitely outperform his ADP. So I like Corey Davis. He's my third receiver. The fourth wide receiver, Mecole Hardman. Mecole Hardman is currently being drafted as wide receiver number 53 in the 13th round of drafts. Last year, okay, he did not live up to the hype that he was buzzing all offseason. But last year, he was drafted in the 8th round. So this year, with no Sammy Watkins, and he's projected to be the second wide receiver in this offense, you're getting him at a big discount than what you were last year. This is a guy that plays with the best quarterback in the league and one of the best systems in the league. He has 4.3 speed. He's only 23 years old. Like, the guy right now is going in the range of Russell Gage, Nelson Aguilar. Like, which one do you want to take out of those guys? For me, it's easy. Mecole Hardman. I think he can absolutely crush this ADP. He can be somebody that next year, basically a top 25, top 30 guy that you're getting super late right now. Super late. It's crazy that nobody's really drawing a bunch of buzz about him, but Mecole Hardman, the fourth player. The last wide receiver. Really, there's two wide receivers here. It's going to be Emmanuel Sanders, Gabe Davis. It just depends on who wins the second wide receiver job. There's been reports that Emmanuel Sanders possibly going to win it because they don't want to put a whole lot on Gabriel Davis's plate. We'll see who wins. But currently, you have Gabe Davis being drafted as wide receiver number 57. Emmanuel Sanders, I believe, is right around wide receiver number 63. So like 14, 15 round of your drafts. Last year, Buffalo transformed themselves into this high passing volume offense where they passed the ball these 6 most times in the NFL. John Brown's no longer with this team, right? This is basically the spot that they're fighting over. Last year, John Brown had 52 targets. Now, last year, you also had Stephon Diggs see 160 targets, and he could probably get pretty close to that number again. I don't know if he sees that number, but he's going to get damn close. And then you have Cole Beasley have a career year where I do think there's going to be a little dip in production from Cole Beasley, but he's still going to be heavily involved. Whoever this guy is, though, the reason why I want this guy is because obviously this is a high-octane offense where one of them could easily be seeing like 80 targets this upcoming season. But if anything were to happen to Cole Beasley or Stephon Diggs, you have a guy that's going to step in and be like a wide receiver 3 for those weeks that you're getting at a massive discount currently. Like, this is basically a wide receiver handcuff for Stephon Diggs. Whichever one wins this job is the one that I want in fantasy football. And you're getting him at basically no cost, somebody that you'll most likely cut. But if the cards fall right, this is somebody that could be top 30 at their position. So Emmanuel Sanders, Gabe Davis, whoever wins that starting job. So with that being said, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this content, please give us a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks, and have a great day.